Breaking news from the Black Sea region has stunned analysts and policymakers. Operating in swarms, they demonstrated autonomous coordination, spacing themselves so that intercepting one did not prevent the rest from reaching their target. Some drones carried high explosive warheads, while others may have been decoys designed to confuse radar operators and lure missile fire. This mixture of strike and deception assets multiplied the pressure on Russian defenders. The ability to fly low, adjust route mid-course, and attack from multiple bearings allowed the swarm to arrive almost simultaneously, saturating the defensive fire control system. Such performance represents a new era of drone warfare in which relatively low-cost systems can neutralize billion-dollar defenses through agility, numbers, and smart planning rather than brute force. Although the word safety might sound incongruous in a military context, there were built-in safety features on the Ukrainian side to prevent sensitive technology from falling into enemy hands. According to sources, the drones were programmed with self-destruct mechanisms triggered if they lost contact or risked capture, ensuring that their guidance systems and software could not be reverse-engineered. They also incorporated restricted geofencing to avoid unintended strikes on civilian areas, an important consideration in maintaining international support. On the Russian side, however, the absence of redundant safety measures within the site meant that once initial strikes penetrated the perimeter, fuel and munitions stored too close together ignited in chain reactions, endangering personnel who might otherwise have survived. The contrasting approaches to safety reflect different operational priorities and have real consequences on the battlefield. What makes this operation stand out are its unique selling points, which go beyond mere destruction. This was not just another drone attack, it was an integrated demonstration of stealth, electronic warfare resilience, and precision targeting. Unlike earlier raids, this one combined real-time intelligence with satellite data and possibly AI-driven pathfinding to adjust to last-minute changes in the environment. It showcased the ability to coordinate dozens of autonomous platforms like a single organism, striking high-value components while minimizing wasted effort. The attack also sent a psychological message that even the most fortified positions are no longer safe from determined adversaries armed with inexpensive but smart systems. These features are why strategists in other countries are studying the event closely as a model for future conflicts. From a cost perspective, the disparity between the weapons used and the defenses destroyed is striking. Each advanced Ukrainian drone may cost tens of thousands of dollars, a tiny fraction of the price tag of the Russian S-400 launchers and radar units, which can run into hundreds of millions collectively. Even accounting for the expense of intelligence gathering and coordination, the return on investment for Ukraine is enormous compared to the losses inflicted on Russia. This stark cost-benefit ratio is reshaping how militaries think about air defense. Traditional systems designed to shoot down expensive aircraft or missiles may be economically unsustainable when faced with mass swarms of cheap drones. Analysts predict that this will drive a wave of innovation in counter-drone technology, rapid-fire lasers, electronic jamming, and dispersed deployment rather than relying on a few high-value nodes. As the dust settles over Crimea, the implications of this strike continue to unfold. For Ukraine, it is both a symbolic and strategic victory, demonstrating the effectiveness of its growing domestic drone industry and the ingenuity of its planners. For Russia, it is a sobering lesson about the vulnerability of static, centralized defenses and the importance of dispersal and redundancy. For the international community, it is a case study in how modern warfare can be transformed by relatively affordable, adaptable technologies that level the playing field against larger, better-funded militaries. This event will likely accelerate the global shift toward unmanned systems, AI-enhanced targeting, and networked swarms capable of overwhelming traditional defenses. Looking at the broader picture, the destruction of Russia's last major air defense system in Crimea represents more than a tactical setback. It signals the erosion of a protective shield that has allowed Russian forces to operate with relative impunity on the peninsula. Supply routes, airfields, and command centers that relied on that shield are now more exposed. Ukraine's ability to exploit this window could alter the trajectory of operations in the region. Yet it also raises the stakes, as Russia may respond with escalated measures or attempt to rapidly deploy new defensive assets, setting off a technological arms race. Observers caution that while drone swarms are effective, they are not invincible, and countermeasures will evolve. Still, the speed with which Ukraine has adapted to battlefield realities has impressed even skeptical analysts. The human dimension should not be overlooked. The attack reportedly caused panic among Russian personnel and local residents who had assumed the site was invulnerable. Emergency services struggled to contain fires and evacuate injured staff amid continuing secondary explosions. Meanwhile, Ukrainian operators controlling the mission from remote stations hundreds of kilometers away experienced in real time the success of months of planning. This remote yet intensely personal form of warfare, where operators watch their targets on screens and guide machines to strike, is becoming the new norm. It raises ethical and psychological questions about distance, accountability, and the changing nature of combat. In conclusion, the destruction of Russia's last major air defense installation in Crimea encapsulates the evolution of conflict in the 21st century. It shows how asymmetric technology can change the battlefield, how intelligence and planning can amplify relatively modest tools. For Russia, it is a wake-up call about the vulnerabilities of high-value assets. And for the rest of the world, it is a preview of how future conflicts may be fought, with cheaper, smarter, more numerous, and more adaptable systems rather than massive monolithic platforms. As you follow this story, remember to subscribe and like the videos on FutureX USA so you don't miss the next chapter in this rapidly evolving saga of modern warfare, technology, and strategy.